What is up, you guys? I know I look ridiculous, but I'm trying to find light. The light is like super bright here, but I am at the tattoo shop. I'm gonna get 2 tattoos. Um, so come along with me. I may then go eat with my mom or with a friend. I'm not sure yet, but come along. I'm excited. You guys are gonna meet my tattoo artist who's been tattooing me for a very long time since my second tattoo. So let's go. Hey guys, so here's the address to this shop. If you're ever in the Georgia area, stop by. Um, this is all of their jewelry, accessories. I never really find a lot of shops that have a lot of jewelry accessories. This one has anything you can think of. They don't just have this display. They have so many jewelry. It's kind of crazy. They also have this little thing where it's you get what you get tattoo. You pay $100. They give you a quarter or two. I don't know how much that little machine is, and then whatever is you get that tattoo. I think you can do another round, and you have to pay like $200 and something. I mean, 100 and something. I don't know. This is Julio Station, my tattoo artist, just showing you guys his little station. Um, and all his little stuff. He was pretty much already ready for me. That's Julio right there. He was just tracing one of my. Oh, I think we were talking about what letter I wanted. I was getting an L to represent Lopez, and um, so he was just showing me the different options I had. And here we are, just you know, getting tattooed. I completely forgot that I had a camera so I could show you how they were going to look like. But I just got a cursive L near Amy Winehouse. I believe she is below Amy Winehouse. Yeah, kind of below. I'll show you guys. Um, but yeah, this is Julio. He has been tattooing me since my second tattoo. I believe my second tattoo was 2014, around that time. Just because I recently ran into a Facebook post that said my first tattoo. So that was in September of 2014. In October of 2014, I went with a friend, the same friend that I went to get my first tattoo. His name is Jonathan, and he's like, "Hey, they're doing this Flash Halloween, and I know that you love Halloween. Let's go get ink together." So he set the appointment. This is when I met Julio, and he did my Hocus Pocus tattoo. You've either seen it or you haven't seen it. Um, and ever since then, we have created a bond. I think someone walked in and we were like, "What the?" A lot of people come into the shop. This is on a Sunday. Um, I do prefer going to the shop on a Sunday. It's not that many people. Julio does rest on Saturdays, so Sunday is just the best day for me. Um, so it's always really weird when someone walks in on a Sunday. At this point, I've been going to the shop such a long time that everyone that works there knows me, which is really cool. But the reason why I like working with Julio is because I feel like we just understand each other very, very well. Um, I bring him a design and then I tell him, this is what I want, but I want to take this and take that and add this and add your style. I give Julio a lot of freedom to come up with any idea that he has, and I feel like we work together very well, very, very well. Sorry. It's super early in the morning, by the way. It is 8 a.m. I had a pretty crazy night, but I just wanted to get this done. But The reason why I like working with Julio, I've worked with other artists. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, but the reason why I love working with Julio is because we just understand each other. I bring him something and I am just like, let's do this, let's do that. And also, he does not charge me for the appointment just because he's known me for such a long time. So he has become friends with me. Um, we're this session we're very very serious, as you can tell. And the reason being is because I could hear he was struggling. The reason why he was struggling is last year he was in a motorcycle accident, so he's still somewhat recovering from all that. But usually we're talking, and usually we're, messing around with the other tattoo artists since they all know me pretty much. I also got to see a glimpse of their Friday 13th. So this was before Friday 13th um, in September. And I got to kind of take a glance. Sadly, I didn't get to make it to the Friday 13th um, event. I had to work and all that stuff, but I have gone to their Friday the 13th events, and it is crazy. You have to mentally prepared to either be in line for a very long time, or just also you have to take your time to really pick which one you want to get, because they do, believe, over 100 different tattoos, and they're pretty like medium size. So this is why Friday the 13th for them is like crazy. I one time stayed in line with my friend for more than 5 hours. We were dehydrated. And thankfully everyone that was near us, we kind of talked and were able to make friends. um, he's trying to adjust my chair for me because now I'm getting my other tattoo, which I ended up getting two little cherries. I wanted it to look very pin-up. As you can tell, my arm is very pin-up. I was telling him, like, oh my god, like, it looks so white in our background that our black outfits are popping out more than the normal. You know what's so funny is I'm actually wearing that shirt right now. I want to sleep with it. That's how you know I had a crazy night. Don't worry, nothing crazy. I mean, nothing crazy with me, just a crazy night. Um, but yeah, me and Julio go way back. There's a lot of trust. Now, I am going to be honest with you. After my first tattoo with him, I took a very long break from getting tattoos just because it was in my early 20s. And I always told myself, if I ever am going to get more tattoos than this, um, I'm going to wait until my 30s, um, just because I didn't want to get something that I wasn't really into. And I feel like in your 20s, you're like learning and everything and all that stuff. So I did wait a very long time to get my third tattoo. Um, and my third tattoo was actually with Julio. It was very, very small. It was a little small little moon. It was my birthday. I was broke. I was unhappy with my marriage. And I was like, you know what? I do not care how much this tattoo is going to cost. And he, obviously, since it was a long break, he didn't like give me a price. He charged me $80 for a little moon, which I don't mind, whatever. Um, but it kind of gave me a reason to go back into tattooing. Um, and just because I loved the feeling of getting ink. I know some people don't like it. I love it. I love just sitting there and just, here we look very serious just because I think he was just trying to work really fast. But me and him have this amazing bond. We're talking. We've both been married and divorced. He has kids, so he's always telling me about his kids. Um, and it's an amazing bond that we have created. So after getting my second tattoo with him, my third tattoo in total, um, I started to kind of figure out what I wanted. And then I kind of took another break after this. And I went through a few car accidents, a few little stuff, and I then started getting free tattoos. So I had a friend back in the day who was learning. She was working actually at a shop and was learning how to tattoo. She had won this competition, and I wanted to support her. And so I got a few tattoos from her. I believe in total of 4 or 5. Um, and then I realized that I didn't like how she worked. I knew she was learning, but I felt like after learning the basic, I think everything should just kind of come common sense for you. Now, I don't know the tattoo world. I only know it as a client, so I can't speak on, but I just didn't like her technique of working. Um, when I mean she traced and, and tattooed, that's pretty much what she did. I was like, I would always tell her, like, put in your style or, whatever. Also, she couldn't work with color, so all of her jobs had to be with black ink. I don't know if that's a thing for interns in tattoo shops, but they didn't let her work with color. So that was another thing. I realized later on, after getting my huge mom traditional tattoo, that I love color. It's really my style. Um, and yeah. So after getting a few free tattoos, I then took another break. And then I had my horrible accident in 2023. And I don't know if I've shared the story here, but I was in a really crazy car wreck. My uncle then passed away a few months later from a car wreck. And I then decided that it was time for me um, to start getting ink. And I went with the traditional mom tattoo. And me and Julio worked together on this. I brought the heart that I wanted. And then I told him, like, I don't want what's around the heart. I want to add traditional with modern. And this is when he came up with the idea to add modern, realistic roses and then have the traditional heart and then have the traditional bands and letters. And we just worked together a lot. Like, we were going back and forth texting. This is what I love about Julio. I don't need to be there. I love to be there and just to kind of show him what I'm talking about, but I don't need to physically be there to tell him this, that, that. Now, everyone in the shop mostly talks Spanish. So if you do want to get a tattoo and you do not speak Spanish, don't worry. They do have people there that speak English and they can guide you and help you. But what I notice is that a lot of people come in and they just say, I want to get this. And I think you need to give some creativity to the artists, give them the creativity and the time for them to add their own design, like copy and paste and ink what you want, but to add maybe a different font or a different design. I know in the tattoo world, a lot of people do not like when they pretty much copy a design and then paste it on someone else. So I think what people need to start doing is just, coming up with what they want, show them what you want, and then just say add your style to it or create something a little different or whatever. Just because I think copy and just tattooing, it's just, stealing someone's art. And I know what you're saying, but they have flash and all stuff, and I understand. But for me, it's more of like, I like getting something, an idea, and then telling Julio, like, I want this, I want that, I would like to add this, I would like to add that. Um, my that big arm, upper arm tattoo, the traditional, that took about 8 hours, not in one sitting. I just did 4 hours in one sitting, and then another 4 or maybe 5, I think, in the first sitting, something like that, and then it was a little shorter the second time, just because I know what I can handle. This was a test for me. It was my first big tattoo, and I just wanted to see how much I can handle. I realized I can only handle up to 4 hours, 4.5, maybe 5. After that, it's very uncomfortable. And I'm not saying it hurts, I just say it's very uncomfortable. You being in a position for that long, it's uncomfortable, regardless what position you're in. But I realized, okay, this gives me time for me to take a break and for Julio to take a break. And I think you also need to understand that your tattoo artist is in a position that's uncomfortable for a very long time. So you need to also understand their pain. um, so it's just what I've learned throughout the way of getting more and more ink. I like doing just 4 hours. I feel like it's a great break for me to, rest whatever I'm getting tattooed, let it heal, and then you can come back a week later or two, just depending how financially you can handle, whatever. You then come back and get it finished or whatever you need to do. But this is when I realized that Julio is just in pain. He was struggling. I mean, not struggling with the ink, but struggling as in like every time he moved, he was like, ugh, like, um. So I believe in his motorcycle accident, he really messed up his spine. He wasn't working for a very, very long time. I think the accident happened in October, and the rest of the year he just could not go to work. So I always try to just be like, "Are you okay?" All that stuff. Be also nice to your tattoo artist, okay? Don't be mean. But yeah, I love working together with him. He really understands me. I understand him, and we've created this amazing bond. He already knows that when I reach out to him, I'm gonna get inked. Um, and you know what's really funny, you guys? After getting these tattoos done, I stayed in the shop for a very long time. Um, this was probably like around 12:30, 12:30. Usually he books me on Sunday, like the first client for the day, just because he knows that I don't bail on him and I pretty much stay still. As you can see, I don't really move. Um, and so we just understand each other. I'm like, early the better for me. And so he always books me at 12:30. I believe this is 12:30. I did not leave the shop, you guys, until maybe around 5ish, 4ish, 5ish. I was just there. I was looking at the flashes that they were working on. I was just asking questions like, how do you guys do this? And how do you guys do that? And so they were just, educating me, which is really cool. And I think because I've been there so many times and they all pretty much know me, um, they were patient enough to kind of be like, this is what you're supposed to do, and all that stuff. Sorry, I just yawned it. But I also was telling them that I was interested in learning how to pierce. Just because a lot of people do ask me if I pierce, and I always have to tell them no, and they want to get pierced by me or whatever. Um, so I may go into the shop and just learn a thing or two, just because I'm kind of just curious also myself. But I was talking to the front desk girl. Her name's Melissa, and we were just talking about stuff that people that we know, and like telling, gossiping pretty much. Um, and yeah, it was fun. We became friends also, and I look how serious I look getting geeked. I'm like, okay, like I have no emotions. These didn't hurt that bad. Um, I don't know if it's just maybe I have really high pain tolerance. I do not know. Or I just have seen, done, heard crazy stuff that this, like me getting a tattoo, is just nothing crazy. Or I don't know. I don't know what it is. Obviously, there's a few parts where it does hurt, um, but it's nothing I can't handle. And sorry, I yawned again. Okay, look, I'll tell you why I'm so sleepy. So, there has been a hurricane here. Well, you guys know it happened in Florida, whatever, but we got the tips of it. So Thursday night, going on to Friday morning, it was just crazy. I could not sleep because of my window that I have is literally like out. So, wind, rain, it was just crazy. And then I kept hearing some weird sounds. So I would freak out, like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, did a tree fall or something? Because I live in Georgia, trees tend to fall and all that stuff. So, um, here I am, waking up for every little sound. My dogs were having a hard time falling asleep. And then around like 4 o'clock in the morning is when I woke up and I just could not go back to sleep. And then around 5ish in the morning is when we got our first alert of flooding. And then a few hours later, when I was kind of falling asleep, another alert comes to us. So I'm like, okay, fine, I can't go to sleep. So then I walk the dogs in the rain, and it's just crazy. We ended up not working yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. And so, yeah, like it's just been crazy. So, and then last night, I, I'm not gonna go into details. It's not my story, but I had to be there for somebody. Me and my mom, like we happened to be hanging out with the mom of the person who was in a situation, and so she was like, "Can you take us?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I took them, and we waited there for a minute because slowly things like the situation, it's not like a snap in the finger and you can just go home. This takes a second. I mean a minute. So we were up until like maybe midnight, I want to say, and then we came home, and then so yeah, I've been running on very low sleep, people. So, but I always wake up early. It's just a thing that just happens. But yeah, so here we are, still tattooing. I really wanted like not realistic, very cartoony, and like just to not look real, if you know what I mean, with the cherries. Um, I wanted something different. Um, so yeah, and look at me, I'm just like a champ. This is how you know women just are better clients for getting ink. Julio has told me like, you never move. I'm like, I know. I don't want you to mess up. I don't want to get like a crazy line. So, um, yeah. And yeah, I believe he's like doing the coloring at the cherries and all stuff. There's a lot of color here. Um, there was red. Oh my God. Okay, red, green, and then white. So the white is, I wanted like little, I don't know what they're called, like I guess little diamonds, like sparkles, like I don't know, but yeah, you'll see at towards the end of the result. But yep, here I am, just chilling. I feel like my mom is always scared on Sundays. She's like, oh, she's gonna get another tattoo. She doesn't want me to get more ink, and I'm like, sorry, you raised a kid that had dealt with a lot of trauma, and this is how I like to deal with my trauma. I'm like, hey, at least my addiction is ink is not anything crazy, like I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not like dealing with anything with you know, I can't say the word on here. They won't let me. But you know what I'm talking about. So I always tell her, at least this is, you know, an ink addiction, um and yeah. So I think my next tattoo is going to be, I want it to be done with my sleeve this year, But I don't think that's gonna happen, just because starting next month is when like work for me gets really crazy. Just because the holidays are coming and blah 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 blah, right? And yeah, so I think I'm gonna get a sword. Um, and then I wanted to add like different types of flowers to represent like different situations that I have dealt with, whether that's trauma or whatever. And the sword is going to represent the battles that I've had to fight, and then the flowers or whatever are going to represent the things, all the traumas that I've dealt with. Um, but I think that's going to happen next year. I don't really see myself going back to the shop this year. I might just go back to say hi to everybody. Maybe get another piercing, but like for ink, financially, I just can't at the moment. Um, just because I just can't right now. But this was nice. This was kind of like me gifting myself a little something for finally ending this chapter of, um, you know, changing my last name. And I think you guys have heard the story of how crazy that was. Um, and after spending so much money, I just honestly, it was draining. The whole situation was very draining. Um, so this was kind of like a reward for me after dealing with all that crap. So, um, and I told Julio, like, once I get my name changed, I was going to come into the shop and get an L. The cherries kind of came later, but we decided to just get everything done that same day. Um, but yeah, I love how serious I look. I look like I'm gonna beat somebody up. I should be an extra on a movie or a TV show, like as a client getting tattooed. I could totally do the role, because look at my face. I'm just like, oh, nothing. I think at this point I'm kind of like tired of being in this position, because first I had to extend my arm, and it was like in an awkward angle, and then close my arm the way I am. And he's putting pressure to make sure the skin doesn't move, because I can be as still as I can, but I have jiggly arms. So but yeah, I did tell a few people I was gonna get this done. A lot of people actually don't know. It's kind of like I kind of told a few people, like people that I probably saw that morning, like walking my dogs. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get tattooed or whatever. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I kind of don't really show my tattoos. There's nothing, there's no reason for it, just because I know a lot of people like go into detail of their tattoos and the meaning and everything. And I will one day would like to do that, just to kind of tell you guys my story of all of my tattoos, because even if I get a flash tattoo, it comes with a freaking story. So, but I feel like I'm mentally not there yet. Um, Maybe once I'm done with my whole sleeve, I would do a sleeve tour and kind of just tell you guys about my tattoos and all that stuff. And I think another reason why I haven't done all this is because I'm planning on getting a lot more tattoos. Um, I don't know really what my goal is with tattoos, but I do want to get a few portraits. I want to get a portrait of my grandparents, and I found a pretty cool artist. I wouldn't go to Julio for portraits. I don't, I don't think he's a fan of them, but and whatever. Not everyone is good at tattooing. Like not everyone is good at everything when it comes to tattoo, which is the beauty of it. Everyone has their own style. So I did find someone who I've been told he does really good portraits, and So I'm gonna bring him a picture of that I have of my grandparents. It's the only picture I have of my grandparents like kind of together and like kind of like in a selfie form. Um, and a clear one just because this was back in the day and we didn't have the best quality cameras. So um, I am planning on maybe getting that portrait done. I'm not really sure. It just all depends on what the vibe is. And I think that's what I recommend for everybody. Whatever the vibe is, just if you feel comfortable with the person who you are getting inked by, then do it. And if you don't, then don't do it. It's just that simple. So I've never met this person. Maybe next year I will set up an appointment to meet him and get this portrait done. Talk about like my options and what will look best. Just because I've never gotten a portrait from anybody. This will be my first one. Later on in life, once my dogs are not here, I'm planning on getting their portraits somewhere on my body with their ashes. Um, and so hopefully that's not going to be anytime soon. Hopefully in a lot more of years because my dogs are pretty young still. Um, but I'm planning on getting, like, I know those for sure. Like, I know the ace and diamond portraits, they're gonna happen. Um, my grandparents, I don't know, just because as much as I love my grandparents weren't the best parents. Um, and they weren't the best, my grandfather wasn't the best husband. So, I don't know. It all depends what once, like I said, what's the vibe I get, if also how much is it going to cost? Because it's a bigger portrait type of situation. But those are the ones like for sure that I'm going to get. He's cleaning up, and I'm just like, I'm probably asking, well, I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm pretty much going to be asking him, are you okay? Um, just because I've never heard him like this before, like the sounds that he was making. Um, I'm so serious when I get ink. Okay, here I'm going to show you what I ended up getting. Oh, there was someone there that was just talking to them, talking to the artist. Okay, so here's the L. Do you guys see it? It's just a simple, and then the cherries. See how I kind of asked for the little diamonds? Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted. But um, yeah, I kind of wanted something different. I didn't want the same what everyone gets and all that stuff. But this is me coming back to Julio. And
What is up, you guys? I have horrible lighting. I'm in my car. I'm waiting for my friend. We're gonna go see Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I was gonna go by myself, but she wanted to tag along, and so here we are, picking her up. So I'm hoping I can vlog just a little bit, like us going into the movie theaters, and like obviously I'm not gonna record any like anything while the movie's playing, but I do want to record just like us getting our food, and then like maybe after. I'm also gonna see if Spirit Halloween has open and next door to the movie theater, because that's usually like my local Spirit Halloween. And they kind of have like a, like sometimes they're open, sometimes they're closed. Like sometimes like they actually open it, and sometimes they don't open it like at all for the time of Halloween. Um, yeah. But let's just wait on my friend. Tattoos are doing good. I had to so this one I had to like it kind of like peeled off a little bit at the top, and like blood was coming everywhere, so I had to like wash it. And thankfully I have like these little things like in my house. I bought like the ones that tattoo artists buy. And so for these things, because they happen and you know. So so yeah. So here we are waiting our movie starts at 10. It's 9:19. We bought our tickets online, but I don't know if she's gonna order food. I am, because I haven't eaten pretty much anything. But yeah, see you guys at the movie theaters. Bye. Yeah, they all come with one. It's so you don't hear like the sound, like the wind or stuff like that. Oh, it doesn't seem packed. Waiting here for a minute. I got a Diet Dr. Pepper. We're waiting on our order. Kayla's getting comfy.
Hella comfy.
Popcorn, classic. What you get?
Extra butter. And,
extra butter, damn.
Oh, yeah.
No hay dieta.
Not tonight, not on Sunday. And a little slushy Pepsi.
Mmm. I never get
popcorn if you want some.
Thank you. You can get some of my food. I ordered. Okay. What'd you think of it?
It was great.
It was, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like the OG, but.
Yeah, no, I never saw it, so I have nothing to compare it to, but it was nice.
Oh, my God, the lights are flickering.
I know. That's so fucking scary.
What the fuck?
That's such a cool camera.
Yeah.
Like the pixels and everything is like nice, and you can see yourself.
It's literally a vlogging camera.
A vlogging camera.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, that's it for today. Good night, everybody.